Welcome. Through the magic of technology, I'm here with you this morning to invite you to sing along with me and sing your heart out on Giving Voice to the Spirit. The first song, Loosen, Loosen, is a recording of the congregation singing it with me on December 8th, 2019, and I hope you'll sing along. I also hope you'll sing along on the second one, Strong is What We Make Each Other. Welcome.
Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscle and bone. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscle and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy carry the weight of the world in your muscles as will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Strong is what we make each other. Strong is what we make each other. Flowing through me, flowing through you. Birthing life, birthing life. Pain and vision intertwining. Pain and vision intertwining. Flowing through me, flowing through you. Birthing life, birthing life. Love and justice guide our journey. Love and justice guide our journey. Flowing through me, flowing through you. Birthing life, birthing life.
Good morning and welcome everyone to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. This is a congregation in the free faith tradition, a community of youth, adults, and children, bound not by creed, but by covenant. I'm Sarah Goodman, Assistant Minister, and I use she, her pronouns. This last month, we've been delighted to welcome beloved guest ministers into our pulpit. Today's guest, our very own Kristen Stone. Kristen is a Unitarian Universalist chaplain and a member of the Unitarian Universalist Mental Health Network. She graduated from Star King School for the Ministry in 2020, and she's currently working in chaplaincy and in mental health reform. She has been a member of White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church since she was 7 years old. Other servants participants today are Carol Coette, Reverend Jack Gady, with Aaron Scott behind the scenes making everything possible this morning. At 11:15 today, we will gather live for our Cyber Social Hour, a half hour of easy conversation in small facilitated groups. All are welcome. You're also welcome to attend a circle round gathering today in person in the church atrium at 4 p.m. For this one, we ask you sign up in advance or send an email to me to let us know you're coming. Welcome to the church. Together, we grow our souls and serve the world in love.
Come in, Come into this space, which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this space where we can heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this space where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this space. Together we make it a holy space. Welcome. Katie Barrett Wick will light the chalice.
Good morning. Our theme for July is interdependence, the practice of leaning into the unknown. In preparing for this chalice lighting today, I've had a chance to reflect on the concept of interdependence. This past year, with the virus, the economic fallout, has made it clear to us that our lives all around the world are interdependent, and that change in one part of our community, our global community, impacts all of us. We've been reminded of the fragile interdependence between democracy and the rule of law. At times, our interdependence with each other can be overwhelming, but it can also inspire us and charge us to action, even when we may individually be in a place of comfort and have the privilege not to act. Some of the most important movements of social change in our history as a country and as a human race have centered around the concept of interdependence. In fact, this idea is at the core of some of Dr. Martin Luther King's most famous pearls of wisdom, the idea that until, if any, experience injustice, we all experience injustice. One of the ways we first learn the concept of interdependence is arguably through science curricula, the idea of ecosystems, water cycles, webs of life. And we have seen as humans the outsized impact our own interference on the natural world can be, because if we disrupt or disturb just one piece of that interdependent web of a particular ecosystem, the whole is threatened. I acknowledge I've just started reading this book, but I wanted to share it with you in case you haven't heard of it. It's by a scientist called Suzanne Simard. It's called Finding the Mother Tree, Discovering the Wisdom of the Forest. I heard an interview on NPR of the author, and I've started to read it, but I had to pick it up to share the basic concept with you because I think it's so key to this concept of interdependence. The doctor describes the ways that trees living side by side for hundreds of years evolve to be interdependent, how they perceive one another, they learn to adapt their behaviors, they recognize their neighbors, they recognize their kin, and they push more resources to their kin. They elicit warnings, they mount defenses, they compete and cooperate with one another with sophistication, characteristics of interdependence that we previously would have only subscribed to human intelligence. I think this is also a powerful way of thinking about our own beloved community. And so today I light the chalice, if I can find my match, to this interconnected web, to the web of the forest of our own community that we're always working to build. And may we find power and peace and comfort in our interdependence and be spurred ever to action.
Please join me in our opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please join us in our hymn, What Wondrous Love Is This, number 18 in Singing the Living Tradition. Join me in the spirit of prayer or meditation. Take a deep breath and find a comfortable place for your body. Listen to your surroundings for a moment. Use your hands to touch something near you. Taste and smell the air that you breathe in. Look out past your device. Look at something other than the screen for a moment. Use all of your senses to ground yourself in this moment, this exact moment. If you're able to, clap your hands together. Feel the sensation and hear that sound. Imagine the sound and energy waves moving through the air out into the space that surrounds you, reaching for and connecting with other beings. As we move in this time together, we are connected. No matter the distance, no matter the barriers between us, we are connected. As your arms raise to clap or hug or wipe away a tear, you are moving the atoms. And those atoms are connected to other atoms, which eventually are connected to me, to us all. Our connections are even there when we forget, even when we've been apart too long, even as we long to come together to hold each other, even as we can't hold each other. Bright ones, dear ones, let us hold each other the best way we can now, in love. Let's hold in love our celebrations. Let's hold in love our losses. Let's hold in love those who are off on a new journey and those who steadfastly remain. Let's hold in love those who come fresh into a new day with joy and hope, and let's celebrate with them. Let's hold those who struggle, those who mourn, those who walk a muddy path and are trying to find a way forward. Let us hold all of us through unknowns, through triumphs, through joy and laughter and tears and sorrow. Let's be bright stars, each of us, as we know we are, connected through energy to those stars out in the sky and to each other. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Tomlinson. I'm here to tell you about the Century College Sandwich Program and what your donation dollars will do to help. Century College operates its resource and support center to provide assistance to about 200 students in need. The center connects them to resources for assistance with food, health services, clothing, childcare, utilities, any services that will help them succeed in staying in school to acquire an education. Our congregation has long participated in providing lunches to qualifying students. One day each week, we make and deliver sandwiches, fruit, and granola bars to help fuel students through their day. Last fall, COVID chased most students with on-campus classes away as soon as class was over. So together with the college, we made the decision to put our effort on hiatus. This fall, however, 70% of students are back on campus, and we are back to providing sandwiches. Thank you for your generosity in funding this important WBUUC project. Please consider joining the Sandwich Squad. My contact information is in Wednesday's e-news, or you can contact the church office. Thanks again.
Our first reading is The Guest House by Rumi, translated by Coleman Barks. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Our second reading is from the Reverend Kate Landis, from her book, Stubborn Grace. I want you to know that you are loved beyond your wildest imaginings by the spirit of creation. Every bit of you is holy, even the embarrassing parts, even the thoughts you wouldn't tell your best friend. God is in your every cell, calling you to live a loving, joyful, boisterous life, to go easier on yourself, to accept that you are a blessing, to spread the word that there is no original sin, that we are all glorious gifts to a world that desperately needs us.
One day, while staring in the water, I saw the eyes of my greatest foe. Somehow, he'd been there all the while, hiding behind the windows of my soul. So, like many who have gone before, many who have yet to be, I dropped a stone and shattered my reflection, and the ripples have begun to set me free. When the sun dies and I'll fall into sleep, my dreams overtake me. There's a man who is trying to hold me down. He hits me with insults, fists, and profanities. Grabs my wrists and pulls me to the ground, and holds me in excruciating pain. But I'll resist, and in the end I'll put him out. But what the night will hide, the light will let me see. It was only me that I've been fighting. It's only me who has been dying. Yeah, it's only me to whom I've been lying. It's only me I'm crucified. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let me go. Let me be free again. Let me know what it is to be me again. Won't you show the way to grow?
A beautiful mind. These words likely mean different things to different people. You might think of thoughts and feelings that we experience from day to day. You might abstractly reflect upon the billions of connections within our brains. To me, A Beautiful Mind is an emotionally evocative movie. Maybe you've seen it. John Nash is a quirky, aspiring mathematician, and he begins graduate school at Princeton University. It's clear he's very bright when he shares mathematical solutions with other students, and he spends hours studying in the library. At a certain point in the movie, he's approached by a stranger who eventually invites him to join a secret Department of Defense mission. He is invited to a hidden bunker where he is assigned the work of cracking an encrypted code. Nash finds the research very interesting and soon becomes obsessed with helping crack this code. You soon realize, however, that Nash was not invited on a secret mission. He never went to a hidden bunker. He never met this stranger from the Department of Defense because it was all in his mind. He has schizophrenia. Now, I mention this movie because I think it's one of the few ways to begin to see the perspective of someone who has a psychosis-related mental illness. The movie is imperfect. The director has taken some liberties, and of course, not every person with mental illness has visual hallucinations. However, I'm a disabled person who has had visual hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, and delusions because I have something called schizoaffective disorder. According to the Mayo Clinic, schizoaffective disorder is a mental health disorder that is marked by a combination of schizophrenia symptoms, such as hallucinations or delusions, and mood disorder symptoms, such as depression or mania. Put in words that may be more easily understood, schizoaffective is like combining schizophrenia and bipolar together, but surprisingly has better potential outcomes than schizophrenia alone, meaning recovery can be more symptom-free. So like Dr. John Nash at the height of his delusions, I thought that I saw secret messages in books and magazines. I thought the radio and televisions were directly talking to me. I've been hospitalized 13 times in psychiatric units. I experienced 10 years of a brain syndrome where I was in denial of my disease called anosognosia. Fortunately, thanks to the advancements in modern medicine and incredibly helpful support from my friends, family, and this church, I entered recovery. White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church has been one of the most amazing communities I have ever met regarding mental health. I want to share a couple examples from my experience with this congregation accepting me and my mental illness. 4 years ago, I experienced my most recent episode of psychosis. I was hospitalized over the summer, and I remember Reverend Victoria and Amy visiting me in the psychiatric unit at Hennepin County Medical Center. Their presence was incredibly meaningful and kept me resilient, as it gave me a source of comfort from colleagues since I had recently been an employee at WBUUC. I remember looking often to the readings in the back of our Unitarian Universalist hymnal, singing the Living Tradition, from a copy I had while I was being hospitalized. When I finally recovered from my psychosis and delusions, I realized I had said some things I regretted while I was sick to staff at the church. After taking several months of contemplation about what to do, I decided to schedule a meeting with Reverend Victoria to apologize. When we met, she warmly accepted my apology and embraced me as a returning member. My second example comes from my process of becoming a Unitarian Universalist chaplain. About a year ago, I needed to complete an internship or residency as a chaplain, and the requirement was to create an internship committee of congregation members. I had 5 wonderful members from this community on my internship committee, and early on in the meetings, I shared that I had schizoaffective disorder. The committee was completely accepting of my disorder and did not present any stigma to me or disdain, which was an incredible comfort. Their love and support truly helped me to thrive through the remainder of my residency. These two examples and others I've accumulated over the years within our WBUUC community and through Unitarian Universalism as a whole have shown me that this church and this faith are truly at the forefront of accepting those with all levels of mental illness. I honestly believe this is one of the safest homes for those struggling with mental health challenges and mental illness. We each experience mental and emotional challenges at times, and I think our awareness of this as Unitarian Universalists has led to a deep acceptance of mental health spectrums and mental illness. Rumi talks about how we each experience emotional struggles in our own way in his poem, The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. This is the first time I have shared my story in a sermon to a congregation. I'm sharing my story primarily today to lift up the ways that this congregation is warm, loving, and embracing of others, and also to lift the ways where we have room to grow, not just in our community, but in society as well. While I and others feel safe in this congregation, there are definitely communities and places where I do not feel safe. There are places in the world that are still full of stigma and fear towards people with mental health disorders. According to a study by the Treatment Advocacy Center, people with mental illness are 16 times more likely to be killed by police. 16. People like Stacey Kenny, a transgendered woman who had paranoid schizophrenia and was struggling with paranoia, was shot by police. Here we see the intersection of trans justice and mental health justice. People like Laquan McDonald, who had PTSD, was shot 16 times by police. And Ricardo Munoz, who had bipolar disorder, was shot by police. Here with McDonald and Munoz, we see the intersection of racial justice and mental health justice. May we hold the memory of each of them in our hearts. Someone who has been hugely influential in my bravery regarding sharing my history of mental illness and my mental health ministry is Reverend Barbara Myers, president of the Unitarian Universalist Mental Health Network. At the UUMHN website, you can find vast quantities of information about the different mental health disorders, as well as helpful books and movies for education. Reverend Barbara Myers has even developed a curriculum for congregation and written a book called Held, Showing Up for Each Other's Mental Health. This is an excerpt from Reverend Barbara Myers' workshop at General Assembly 2020, Sacred Mental Health Matters. When I go to talk to congregations, and I've done this many times to talk about mental health issues, I tell a little bit of my own story. Not because it's so incredibly special, but because I know that when somebody stands up and tells their story, it makes it safer for other people to be honest about what's happening in their lives. After I finish my presentation and talk about the recovery process, I ask people as an act of public witness if they would rise in body or spirit if they or a loved one is living with a mental health problem. And every time I've done this, somewhere between 75 and 100% of the people will stand up. And they all look around and can't believe it. Another pioneer for mental health within our faith is Reverend Kate Landis. In her book, Stubborn Grace, her personal experience with mental illness is shared and how faith has helped her through it. She shares, I want you to know that you are loved beyond your wildest imaginings by the Spirit of creation. Every bit of you is holy, even the embarrassing parts, even the thoughts you wouldn't tell your best friend. God is in your every cell, calling you to live a loving, joyful, boisterous life, to go easy on yourself, to accept that you are a blessing, to spread the word that there is no original sin, that we are all glorious gifts to a world that desperately needs us. Both Reverend Barbara Myers and Reverend Kate Landis are helping to carry our faith forward in understanding and embracing others with mental illness. We have additional areas where we could look to within our own faith for a deepening of understanding. More research could be done about Unitarians and Universalists from our past who have experienced mental health issues. One example is Jones Very. He was a poet, essayist, minister, and transcendentalist from the 1800s. He often gave lectures on poetry that were quite successful and led Ralph Waldo Emerson to become friends with him. Shortly after meeting Emerson, Jones suffered from severe psychosis, which led to his dismissal from Harvard, and he was placed in an insane asylum. After he was released, however, Emerson continued to be his close friend and assisted Jones with publishing a book called Essays and Poems. We could also do more research on those Unitarians, Universalists, and Unitarian Universalists who have worked for mental health reform and mental health justice in the past. Someone like Angela Shea, a Unitarian who, in the 1940s, worked in an insane asylum in Minnesota. When she saw the terrible conditions there endured by the patients, she went to her church, Unity in St. Paul, and organized a social justice group with Reverend Arthur Foote, the lead minister of the parish. Together, they wrote a resolution on mental health reform that they presented to the governor of Minnesota. The resolution resulted in a number of mental health reform changes that led to nationwide adoptions of better practices. If you are struggling with a mental health disorder, know there are places outside of our faith that can be of support too. The National Alliance of Mental Illness, or NAMI, has many support groups, both for those struggling with mental health disorders and for those supporting loved ones with mental health disorders. Another great resource is the organization and YouTube channel Living Well with Schizophrenia, hosted by Lauren Kennedy. She talks about what it is like living with schizoaffective disorder and has many helpful and supportive videos for those living with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorders. If we decide to adopt an eighth principle to our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles, it will likely say this: we covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working towards a diverse, multicultural, beloved community, by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Dismantling racism should obviously be a primary concern for our faith, but working towards a diverse, multicultural, beloved community also means including those with disabilities. Dismantling other oppressions also means dismantling ableism. We can get involved in the movement for mental health reform by working with organizations like the UU organization Equal Access, 2Us, an organization promoting disability justice within our faith. Also, the organization, the Unitarian Universalist Mental Health Network, focused on addressing mental health justice. And of course, NAMI, as well, also working for mental health justice and reform. With the pandemic, there has been collective trauma, but also massive change. Our faith and our Unitarian Universalist Association moved from largely being in person to being largely virtual. This has been a significant blessing to those with disabilities. Many people are too disabled to leave their homes and can't attend worship in person, so now they can attend worship live from their homes. Also, many congregations use closed captioning online so people who are hard of hearing or deaf can read the subtitles. Additionally, Unitarian Universalist ministers with disabilities in the ministerial credentialing process currently interview over Zoom, which means they do not have to endure the stress and physical challenges of traveling to Boston, making Unitarian Universalist ministry more accessible for them. We have made significant progress as a faith group, but we can still make large strides to bring more mental health justice and disability justice to our world. We can also remember to hold those supporting loved ones with disabilities. I would never have made it as far as I have on my journey in recovery without the help of my parents, friends, and my significant other. We could hold support groups, not only for those experiencing disabilities, but also for their loved ones who need support. May we remember how far we've come in accepting those with mental illness and disabilities, and have known the true inherent worth and dignity of every person. May we continue to look into our interconnected web of all existence to know we are all connected. May we strive towards a rich, diverse, multicultural, beloved community. Amen.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Please join me in our closing words. May peace dwell within our hearts and understanding in our minds. May courage steel our will and love of truth forever guide us. Farewell, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you'll join us at 11:15 in just a few minutes for social hour, where we will be introducing Reverend Roger Birchhausen here with us for the first time. All are welcome. Be well, stay well, friends.
Such a long time for my ship to come in, and now jumping. I can swim. There's water in my blood and skin. It's in the air that I'm breathing. I don't know where I've been hiding. I've got to jump in and swim. There's water in my blood and skin. It's in the rain that I'm feeling. I don't know where I've been hiding. I've got to jump in and swim up in a ship with no rudder, wandering out on the open water. And I know that I'm bound to find the shoreline. If I could just be happy where I am, I can swim. There's water in my blood and skin. It's in the air that I'm breathing. I don't know where I've been hiding. I've got to jump in and swim. There's water in my blood and skin. It's in the rain that I'm feeling. I don't know where I've been hiding. I've got to jump in and swim. And it goes like this, around in a circle, goes around, 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 around. And it goes like this, around in a circle, and it's bound to bring me home again. It's bound to bring me home. And it goes like this, around in a circle, goes around, 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 around. And it goes like this, around in a circle, and it's bound to bring me home again. It's bound to bring me home. And it goes like this, around in a circle, goes around, around, around in a circle. And it goes like this, around in a circle, and it's bound to bring me home again. It's bound to bring me home. And it goes like this, around in a circle, and it goes like this, around in a circle, and it goes like this, around in a circle, and it goes like this, around in a circle, and it's bound to bring me home again. It's bound to bring me home.